Hallo allemaal, welkom back bij mijn kanaal. Ik ben Joey Jack en leuk dat je kijkt dit nieuwe video. Thank you so much for tuning in and for clicking and watching this video. And yeah, by now you know who I am. I'm Joey, an American living in Amsterdam, and ik spreek beetje Nederlands, thus my videos are in Dunglish, so it's a mixture of Dutch and English. So if you are just learning Dutch, stick with me. I will try and translate as I speak, alright? Welcome by a new video. That was so Dutch. Welcome to a new video. Now, I am going to remind you that I do have an Instagram, so if you have an Instagram and you want to know what's happening in my life, like for example, my fridge just broke yesterday, go ahead and head over to that Instagram and check it out. Actually, really interesting. It actually broke, so I'm going to show you, like, the type of stuff I Instagram about. From 2 amazing classes. And somehow the universe just wants to test you.
The universe against us.
Our fridge is kapot. Halo top. It's all melted. Our frozen fruit. Our ice cubes. Oh my god, our croquette.
What is this?
My gluten-free bread for my friend that I have over who's celiac. Why?
Oh, this is okay, you can...
Well, you guys, perks of owning your own home.
Yeah.
Thank you, fridge, for nothing. 3 months and she's dead. Send help. Jongens, ik ben echt Amerikaans. Hallo. I cannot lie. I'm such an American. But yeah, those are the type of stuff that I post on my Instagram. Just daily life adventures. Also, if you're not part of this family, go ahead and click that subscribe button and just become part of this family and just come on over. You know, and I'm so excited that you are watching. So let's go ahead and get started. In this video, I'm going to talk about with the 5 difficulties of being an expat. Now, you guys know an expatriate and what an expatriate is, right? An expat is basically a person that is residing in a country that is not their birth or their home country, which is what I am, and I'm super happy about being an expat. And if you see like 99% of my videos, they are like pro the Netherlands, pro expat, because I really love it in this country, and I'm so excited that I get to call it home. But I am an American and I was born and raised in America. So there are some difficulties when it comes to being an expat. And I just really wanted to discuss them with you because I'm going through a little bit of a homesick phase where I just miss like home, you know? I miss New York and I miss my life there and my friends and yeah. So here is what I find difficult about being an expat. So I think number 1, which is the biggest one, is that temporarily, for example, the Netherlands is my home, but I am not Dutch, and people know that, and that is a thing that you kind of face every day. So you're in this country, and you know, picture being at home and how comfortable you feel like in your own home, right? You can do whatever you want, you feel at home, right? That feeling. And then now picture not having that. So being somewhere and always feeling like you're really not home. And although it is your home and you love it and it's just like you feel it, it's just like there are little things that always remind you like, hey, you're not Dutch. Like, this isn't your home. So I think that those are the small things that really, it just like, will it ever get to a moment where I don't feel like a foreigner? Do you know what I mean? I hope so. Because I don't like to feel like a foreigner. I don't like to feel like, hey, you're different. Or I go to a restaurant and, oh, he's a tourist because he's got an American accent. You know what I mean? Those are things that you just, yeah, they get tired after a while. So that feeling of like not being home And don't get me wrong, right? I don't want to say the wrong thing because I love the Netherlands. It is my home and I feel it. And if it was for me, this is my home. But it's just that in society, it's like I'm not Dutch, I don't have a passport. I don't speak the language very well. So there are things that are always like, but you're not Dutch. And that is, I think, a hard pill to swallow. And if that's gonna be my next 40 years of my life, it's just kind of like, okay, not my favorite, if you get what I'm saying. Number 2, it's getting close to the holiday season, and I think that's the reason why I'm getting a little bit homesick. And it's because as an expat, your holidays and your customs are just not there. You know what I mean? Like, for example, Halloween. Right now it's October. So in America, we're getting ready for Halloween. Everything is decorated for Halloween. Like, there's pumpkin spice everywhere. There's pumpkins. There's like that feeling that you have. And that isn't here. And that is very difficult. Thanksgiving, for example, where you go with your family and friends and you celebrate Thanksgiving and like it's turkey time. And do you know what I mean? You have a couple of days off of work to like celebrate and be with your family. Like we don't have that here. Christmas, we have that here, but it's a little bit different because of Sinterklaas. So I think the holidays are what make it very difficult as an expat, and maybe other expats know exactly what I mean about it. And I can still celebrate Halloween, I can still celebrate Thanksgiving, but it's different when not the whole country is celebrating with you. It's like you're missing something. And also the holiday celebrations in the country that you are in as an expat, that you don't really connect with them as you do with your celebrations back home. So those are hard things. You know, when you're like, like I love Thanksgiving and I love like, you know, my holidays and my celebrations. I think then as an expat, that's when life gets a little bit difficult. And you know, the Netherlands, luckily, is very close to American culture. Like, so I'm not like, oh my God, in complete culture shock with these things, like as if I went to, you know, a complete different culture. So I'm kind of whining about something that isn't so big, but I'm just being honest about the difficulties about an expat life. And a lot of people are like, I want to travel, I want to be an expat. Well, these are the sort of things that you're going to encounter. Number 3, undeniable, your friends. And for some people, their family. And for me, my friends are my family. So that, I think, is one of the most difficult things to deal with as an expat. That if something happened at work, good or bad, you want to share it. You know what I mean? And I have my schoon family and my friends here. But like, you know, you miss your connections that you've had since you were little. And those are things that are like, oh my God, I want to share it with my family and my friends. But you gotta revert to a FaceTime call. You know what I mean? That is difficult. Or for holidays, like for Thanksgiving, I see my friends and my family on Instagram with like their fun Halloween costumes and their fun Thanksgiving dinners, and those are things where I'm like, oh my God, I'm missing out, like wait for me. But life kind of just doesn't wait for you. Your friends and your family, they keep going, and as you should as well. So it's hard to see them enjoying their life and then you're like far away and you've got to enjoy their life through the screen. That's really difficult. Number 4 is the language. Now, I do speak Dutch, but I speak it with a very thick accent, and I'm trying my hardest. And I think for me as a perfectionist, it's gonna be really hard that I gotta accept that maybe my Dutch will never be perfect, native. Like, I gotta accept that maybe I will always sound like an expat. Like, I will always sound like a second language Dutch speaker. And that for me is not cool because I'm an uber perfectionist. So I really want to do good. Like I want to speak it perfectly. I want to be in the culture perfectly. But this is coming to a point where I'm like, all right, like, you know, will it ever be a moment where I can speak Dutch perfectly and I can then just be like not a foreigner? Let me know what you think about that. Like, do you know anybody that came here as an adult and now speaks Dutch perfectly and I would never be able to tell that they weren't Dutch native? And that's really important for me because if this is my home, I want to be able to speak the language perfectly. You know what I mean? That's just who I am. So that is a big struggle for me. And the last one, number 5, is your children. If we were to have children and we were to raise them in this country, I have to come to terms that they will not be raised with the culture that I was raised with, which is really, really difficult because, for example, my American school, and they won't have that. So I will never be able to empathize with them on how their school is. Do you know what I mean? Like only Nick will. And that is a really difficult thing for me to think about. They're gonna speak native Dutch. So their language is gonna be so much better than me when they're like 15 and I'm gonna be an adult. And that is hard for me to think about. So it's when your children have a different culture that you're not 1000% a part of, that you're like, oh my God, how do I deal with this, you know? So those, I'm being very honest with you, and I wanted to be very open. Those are the things that worry me about being an expat, and those are the things that really make me think. By no means do I feel like jumping ship and going back home, but when I'm homesick, these are the things that make me really think, and I want you to give me your advice, you know, as my viewer, as my friend. Like, what do you think I should learn, and what do you think that I should think about when I have these doubts and these questions? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to read that. Thank you so much for watching this video. I cannot wait to read these comments, and I can't wait for you to see my next video. I know this wasn't the most fun video, but I just wanted to be honest with you. So I will see you guys next time. Doei! Bye!